Hey everyone, welcome to your channel. This is the game number 3 between Magnus Carlsen and Nepomniachtchi. This is, as you know, this is the CCT Finals 2024. This is game number 3, so let's jump in the game. Please don't forget actually to give the thumbs up and also comment, and please also make sure that you have sub to the channel. That would be just very encouraging and gives me a lot of energy. So let's do it. We have Carson playing with white pieces and Jan Nepomniachtchi with black pieces. So we have e4, c5, c3. So Carson in this game plays the this is the Sicilian game, yes, but this is called the Sicilian Alapin with or Sicilian C3 is Alapin. So let's continue. We have knight f6 attacking this pawn, and white usually pushes it or has another option by playing queen to c2 is also possible in these lines. So but Magnus plays move e5 himself, so we have e5. Don't forget, this is very tactical and they made a lot of blunders in the game, and they made a lot of blunders, mistakes, inaccuracies in the game. Okay, we have this was very complicated game. We have knight to d5, and here we have knight to f3. d4 is, yes, d4 is also playable in these lines. Okay, after cd, you can play cd. After, for example, bishop here, bishop is just getting played this way. Bishop b3 is another way to play. Yeah, but we have knight to f3, knight to c6, and now d4, and now c chapters on d4. C chapters on d4, and now from here we have the same as I just told you. We don't take the pawn back immediately, but instead we have bishop c4, so attacking the knight on d5, knight comes back on b6, attacking our bishop. So we have bishop b3, and now it is possible to take, but we just give a white later development advantage. So Nepo didn't play this and played the move g6 this way. A better move actually could be just maybe d5. Okay, e chapters on, and now e6 is played. You don't take this pawn immediately. Instead, you play e6, and then you want to take this pawn by your bishop on f8, which is under already. So but actually, after bishop b3, Nepo just played the move g6 in this position. So g6, we have c charges on d4 and bishop to g7. We have knight to c3. A better move could be actually just aggressive move a4. So it was just, we want to just push it and to trap this knight here. So d5 is again playable. You can't actually, this is somehow risky, but because it's cut, I'm just saying it's risky because you're just ready knight c3, knight b5, and this knight is a monster on b5, so you don't have any a6 anymore to just keep this knight away. So that's the reason it's the move a5 is not very good in this situation. Instead, d5 is just playable, or knight to a5. You just yourself play knight to a5 is possible, but after bishop to a2, the game is still interesting and the game continues, guys. So we have bishop knight c3 by Carlsen and just castle. Again, the move d5, d6, so d5 could be possible in this situation. D6, and here we have nice move e6. Okay, takes, and now the move h4. It's just very interesting game. But as I just said, castles. Now we have castle. Again, this idea of a4, a5 is possible. We have castle anyway, so d6. We have e captures on d6 and queen captures on d6. We have the move d5, so we just attack the knight here. And here knight to a5 by Carlsen, but I'm sorry, by Nepo. And here after rook to e1, and here after knight takes on b3, Carlsen was shocked and was maybe confused. I don't know why. Maybe he was just considering to take. Maybe he just was considering that actually Nepo could later on take on c3 and take the pawn on the d5 square. So, but he could take. He took actually with the queen. He could actually take with the pawn up too. But queen takes b3, no problem already. And here Nepo played the move bishop to g4. Since the queen is not on d1 to protect this knight on f3, so later he just moved his bishop and attacked this knight and asked this knight, where do you want to go in the situation? Okay. After queen takes on b3, as I just told you, bishop to g4 hits this knight. So if this knight will be gone, then the pawn structure around the king will be just ruined. And surely Magnus doesn't want this. And here I was considering myself in the right match that he plays the move knight to g5. But actually, knight to g5 is the best move, and I just uh, I just was considering the nice move, the right move here, because this just plans here to this square around this, and but bishop instead of knight to g5, bishop to g5 was just played, and now it use might ask that if you take with take on bishop takes on e7. And after, for example, queen to f4, it's possible you can't take this because of this. Okay, so this is just made. So I just must tell you that it is not that easy playing this bishop takes on f8. So g takes on f8, and here we have rook f to e8 and knight to e2 defending the pawn, and also going for the defensive knight g3. Okay, so but in the game, rook f to e8 was played by Nepo. Nice move. Doesn't want to make this position very complicated. Already, we have rook a to d1, so defending this pawn once more. We have bishop now takes on f3, so Magnus doesn't get irritated by this move. Bishop takes on f3 and doesn't move the knight away or defend it in a way, or by just by playing rook to e3. Rook e3 is possible after bishop takes, rook takes. It was also possible, okay, but Magnus didn't want this, and instead, as I just told you, defend this pawn on the d5 square another time by playing rook a to d1, so we will just defend it. And they took g takes on f3. We have queen to d7 now. So queen is going this way and this square to make some threats in the king side here. And we have knight to e4 by Magnus. We have pawn push hitting the bishop on g5 square. So, and he retreated to bishop to e3. But again, I think he might actually redundant move, because he could move this bishop to f4 immediately, not putting his bishop to e3 and then uh, made consideration after queen to h3 to put again his bishop on f4. Okay, so bishop to e3 was played anyway, as you just telling you, queen to h3, and now bishop to f4. Okay, so but this queen here, actually, that bright thread in this position is just queen takes on f3, right? So, and another thread is this. Okay, so but the critical thread in this position is queen takes on the f3. So we have bishop to f4 completely. I must wait. I must just say that bishop to d4 was possible because we trade this bishop for this bishop. This bishop may come to play for an aggressive attack. Okay, so that's why bishop to d4 was another possibility that Magnus Carlsen could play in this position. So, but not be clear with this. We have bishop to f4, and after knight to d7 coming back, we have d6 push by Magnus, and we have knight to e5. Instead of knight to e5, e5 could be just played after bishop coming back to d2. We have b6, so we must see who controls the spy first, which is actually white. Rook to c1 and knight to f8, so knight to e6. Knight to e6 is his plan, or knight to e6, knight to d4, and taking on f3 with this nice threats. Okay. After rook to c7, we have knight to e6 and rook to b7. You can't notice that you can't play this immediately because of this check, and you're just getting checkmated here. So that's why rook to f8, and not the serious threat is knight to d4, which we will just neutralize it by playing the move f4. Here we just attacking his queen, and after takes the queen and pushing the pawn to f5, the game could continue on by a strike advantage for Nepo. But in the main game, after e6, knight to e5 was just right here. We have bishop to g3, and rook to e3 was also possible to make this pawn, to add to this pawn another defender by playing rook to e3. Okay, but bishop to g3 was played in this position, and after rook a to d8, and here this was very critical moment in the game, which actually Nepo actually had to make make the best move in this position. Otherwise, it was a lost position for him. Rook a to d8 was played, but for that, as you are just noticing, and this pawn is under attack. So if you move this pawn away, for example, if you play, and I must just tell you one thing, if this is played, and if this knight is removed this way, for example, you play, okay, I think like this, but we have this sacrifice, and after knight to g5, we just forking the king and the queen, and so the queen will be gone, but this game is still continuous. Okay, so that's why actually move come this way to push was not actually possible because of this queen sack to on actually on f7. Okay, so we have rook a to d8, and now the pawn push f4. And if you might just tell me what is the problem by this move, knight to g4 just has no threats, and actually white is gonna push and get this nice advantage after rook takes d1, rook takes d1 or queen. Actually, queen takes on d1. You can't take it now because of this check. Okay, so let me just show it. It's just check, and you win the rook this way. Bishop to f8, yes, can be played, but we have this nice move, knight to f6, knight takes, and here rook takes, and this is a risky position for white, and at risky position for black, sorry, and actually black is having critical moments in this game and should defend very wisely to survive. So that was actually not possible to play knight to g5 and knight to g4 and Magnus and Nepo, sorry, pardon me, actually understood it very deeply. We have knight to c6, and we have queen takes on b7. So Magnus took the risk of taking on b7. We have no knight to d4. The threat is, sorry, knight to f3 as just the engine played. We have this threat of knight to f3. Okay, and in this position, Magnus played the move king to h1. He could have tried this move, rook takes on d4, okay, or knight to. Could have actually tried rook d4, bishop takes on d4, and rook to d1, bishop coming back to b6, and d7. Rook f8, and now you can see that black pieces are somehow passive. This rook is not just doing something great in this position. But Magnus actually has just said king to h1 was just played to get away from this annoying check fork. We have now again e takes on d6, and after queen to e5 we have knight to f5, and here b4 move was played from Magnus. He could have tried king to g1 in this position. Okay, actually the black threat, I know, was to take on b2, but maybe he could actually never take on b2, I don't know. But b4 was played from Carlsen. We have rook to e6, nice move. So after knight to c5, using the and utilizing the spin this way, okay, we have rook takes on e1, rook captures back on e1, and here king to h7 was played. Instead of that, he could have played the cunning, simple, not the simple move, but very nice move, rook to c8 in this position. After knight to e4, now comes rook to c2. Now also the rook infiltrates the white's camp, and here the threat is knight takes on g3. For example, if you play something like this, like knight takes on g3. If you play knight takes on g3, here comes rook takes on f2, and this is just lost in this way. If you play this threat to survive, we can just take, okay? So that was not possible. And this is just winning mate for actually black. This case. But rook to c8 was not great. Buddies. We have king to h7, and now knight to e4. Now queen takes on f7 is a threat from Carlsen. We have rook coming back to e8, and here Nepo just put a simple trap trick for Magnus Carlsen. You actually may say, wow, he just blundered his rook. I just give check, and after he takes, I just take the rook. I'm the winner. No, you're not the winner. You're the loser because of queen to f1 is mate. Okay, so That's the reason this tactic. Also here, you just take, and after here, you just lose it. Okay, so this tactic doesn't work in this stuff. So king to g1 was just played, and now this is the threat because queen to f1 is covered by the king. Now the threat is knight to f6 and grabbing the rook this way. Okay, so king after king to g1, rook to e6 was played. So blocking taking also the pawn on f7 because the f7 pawn was undefended by the. Okay, so rook to e6 blocks this diagonal and protects it. We have rook to d1 and queen to h5. A better move, this one could be knight to h4. If you take this, it was this nice idea, queen takes on h4 and now rook takes on e4 is a possibility because of queen check and we just grab the rook on d1 square. But knight t2 could have been played by Magnus for defensive ideas, and here we have just the move h5 and the game could continue, okay? But here Magnus played the move queen to h5, and now he has again this threat of rook takes on e4. You can't take back because your rook on d1 is hanging. So after rook to d2 by Magnus, we have queen to g4. Again, this move queen to h3 was actually possible, but queen to g4. And here, nice kind of move from Magnus f3. So f3 is a trap. You can't take it, guys, because of this check. And I'll pick your queen in the next move. So we have queen to h3, bishop to f2, and here knight to e7. A better move could be just playing the move g4, and I'm just threatening g takes on f4. So the rook comes this way, and this is just over. Okay, but here knight to e7 was played from Nepomniachtchi. We have queen to d3 and queen to f5. d5 was another possibility. After knight to g3, we have move d4 and queen to f1, giving queen exchange offer, and the game could continue. But queen to f5 from Nepo, we have now knight takes on d6 tactic. We have queen takes on f4. We have bishop to g3. Bishop g3 was actually an inaccuracy because just gave this pawn for free. Okay, after bishop to g3, so surely Nepo just grabbed the pawn. On the b4, we have knight takes on f7, and this was a very bad move, blunder from Carlsen. But actually, Nepo didn't get this error. He could have played the move knight to f5, okay? And here the threats are bishop to d4 and a lot of aggressive moves that comes to keep this. These are aggressive attackers. After, for example, king to g2, okay, the game could continue, but and actually this happened in the game. After knight to f5, we have king to g2. So getting away from this check, we have king to g2 and queen to e7. Queen e7 was a blunder. He could have played the move rook to e3 actually. After queen to d5, he could have again played this rook to come back to e7 after the pawn push hitting the queen. We have now again this fork, and now this is just a serious knight now for Magnus Carlsen. But let's go back to the game and see what happened. We have queen to e7, as I just told you. We have knight d6, rook to e3, queen to c4, a blunder. He could have played queen to b5. After this subtle tactic takes, and here we have king to g4 and queen takes on d2, knight takes on f5, queen to g5 check, king to f2, and queen exchange, and in this position a still draw. Okay, but queen to c4 was just played. We have knight takes on g3, another mistake, and as I just told you, this game was full of blunders, barky, very barky, as I just maybe can say about this position. But let's see the game, what happened. Knight takes on g3, h takes on g3, and here rook to c3 attacking the queen. We have offering the queen trade here on e4, so rejects it Nepo. We have queen to e2 and now rook to c6, so we just attack the knight. After knight to e4, we have queen to e7, queen to b5. We have rook c7, rook queen to d5, rook to b7. We have now the pawn push a4. So rook to b7, rook to b2, and offering rook exchanges. So bishop captures on b2, and we have move a5. Bishop coming back to g7. We have the move again. So Magnus wants to actually play like this and make and also somehow tries to promote his pawn from this efforts. But we have queen to c7, another blunder from Nepo. It was the best move to play queen to a3. So this pawn is under attack, and if, for example, not this, then we just offer another queen exchange, and this position is draw because we can defend this pawn anytime by or bishop. Okay, but as I just told you, queen to c7 was played. We have queen to b7 and bishop to e5. And here, Magnus played the move knight to f6. So you can't take this undefended knight because your queen is undefended. Okay, but let me just tell you, queen to c2 was the best move for Jan. After king to h3, then making space by. So the threat is actually very simple. It's just knight f6 and just mate is coming. Okay, so for example, if you play something like this, then knight f6 here and here, it's just mate. Okay, that's why h5 was necessary. And after queen takes on a7, we have now queen to e2, and we are just giving these perpetual threats to draw this game. But in the game, bishop to e5 was just played, guys. We have knight to f6, king to h8. After queen check on a8, we have queen broke on b8. We have just afraid of the queens. And here, in this moment, you won't believe also they made blunder. Okay, after king to g7, so we have this knight to d5, king f7, king f3, king to e6, attacking the knight, so king to e4 defends the knight. We have bishop to d6 and knight to c3. We have bishop to c5, knight to b5, and now pawn push h5, and after knight to c3, bishop to f2, we have king coming back to f3, defending the pawn on g3. we have bishop to d4 attacking the knight, and after knight to e4, king coming to e5, knight to g5, bishop to f6, knight again coming back to e4, we have bishop to e7, and here he made blunder by playing king to e3. And the best move in this position is king to c6. But here Nepo played the move king to c4. Oh, sorry. King to c6 actually was blunder, and king to c4 is the best move. But as I just told you, let me see. King to c4 could win actually the game. King to f3, and now we just approach this pawn, and this would be a winning game for Nepo. But he missed his chance. He didn't play king to c4 to attack this pawn. Okay, he played king to c6, and here we have king to d4, again making another blunder from Magnus. You could actually play knight to c3 to save this game. You can't play this because of this fork, and you will lose yours. So king to d4 from Magnus was another blunder. We have king to b6. I don't think we have seen Magnus making a lot of blunders in the in-game because he is the endgame god. But in this situation and this position, time scrambles, he made a lot of blunders. We have king to e5, and here Nepo just could actually take on a6, and it was a simple win for him. But he made the position much simpler, and Magnus was able to draw this game. By playing h4 blunder, h8, and this is just draw. You can't push this because of this fork, so you have to play king to c3, and here Carlsen made a brilliant move by king here to take, but this pawn cannot be promoted after here. Here, this pawn will be also gone. So, hope you enjoyed this video. This was actually the longest videos in this actually Nepomniachtchi and Magnus Carlsen matches. This was the game number 3. It was actually 87 moves we just viewed in this game. Please don't forget to actually give the thumbs up, and actually like these videos, and please put comments on these videos, and make sure that you have subbed to the channel. That would be just very encouraging for me. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed this video. See you next time. Bye for now.